Hi there. We are going to set up our own subscription of QuickBooks. I'm going to walk through step by step, and then I'm going to show you the standard items that I am going to do on the back end in order to make sure that my foundation is correctly set up as far as my chart of accounts, and I've got my accurate business information on there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the quickbooks.intuit.com/pricing page. And this is where I'm going to choose my subscription to start from. In the center of the screen, most likely when you open it and start, it's going to look like this. And what we are going to do is we're going to toggle this little green button to the right. That way we can get a free trial for 30 days. This is great when you're learning. You just want to play in the system, but you don't want the obligation to continue with that subscription on. You just want to do the free trial. However, if you are purchasing it, you may want to get the 50% off for 3 months. So you may want to toggle it back to the left and go ahead and continue with that. But we're going to toggle to the right. And for a business that's just starting out, you can start with the lowest version, which is Simple Start. Once you get used to some of the things in QuickBooks, you could upgrade at any time. So if you need more users, projects, you want more AI capabilities, you could upgrade it anytime. You can also downgrade it anytime, and then you will lose some of those items that you've upgraded to. If you're just learning though, you might as well give yourself time to get the training wheels off until you get good with things, especially from the basic bookkeeping side before you truly jump in and start using all the different things. I've seen some people just pay too much money right off the bat by choosing those higher subscriptions, and they're not even using them right. So if we start with Simple Start, we're just going to say choose plan. Once we choose our plan, we can go ahead and add the payroll if we really want to, if we need payroll. If we don't, you're just going to click continue without payroll up here at the top. Then it's going to ask me for an Intuit login if I've never logged into QuickBooks before or to Intuit before. So if you have MailChimp, TurboTax, you might already have an Intuit login. So be aware of that. If I do already have an Intuit login, I'm going to come all the way down here in the blue. I'm going to click sign in down here at the bottom. Otherwise, I'm going to come back up to the top and I'm going to enter my email address, create a password, enter my phone number, and then check the box if I really want to. However,
After creating your login, you will be asked to enter a credit card. I will show you how to cancel this in a minute.
to this screen where it's asking me if I want to skip the trial and save today. And so this is where I can do that 30 days again. If I still want to continue with my free trial, then obviously I'm going to say continue with my trial. And then it's setting up my account. So I want Simple Start. I didn't want payroll. Nothing is due today, so I'm not being charged anything. I did get a $1 charge on my watch right now just because they are testing to make sure that that was a good credit card. And then we are to the setup menu. So let's just get your business set up with a few steps, right? So we're going to say, let's get started. And then I'm going to put in my legal business name or the name if you're joining QuickBooks for personal use. So if I want to put in my legal business name, I'm just going to say this is an SBDC test because that's what this is. I'm going to add my role. So I am the owner. How many employees do I have? I'm just going to answer that based on what's real. I'm going to say this is just me. What's my business type? You'll notice on here, I get this question a lot when the LLC is missing. We are going to say that we are either a sole proprietor or partnership, even if we're an LLC. So for this situation, I'm a sole proprietor. And what was my company's annual revenue last year? Am I less than a million to 1 point or to 2.5 or over 2.5? So I'm going to say less than 1 million. And I'm going to say next. And then automatically, as I have mentioned before, this says connect your bank account to automate accounting. I actually want to skip for now. They have changed the screen since last time I was here. Without those transactions, everything will be empty. Yeah, we're going to do that later. So we're going to say do this later. Now let's streamline your payments. Also, we're going to say skip for now because we're going to do that later. And then it's getting ready for me. So you notice that was so fast to actually set up QuickBooks, and then they're going to just dump you into it, and you're going to have to figure it out from there, right? I'll show you the couple things that I do right when I start out before I ever even consider connecting my bank accounts. This is the user dashboard of the new user interface that it looks like. I also have my good old assistant up here, so if I'm unsure about anything, I could also get a company demo if I really want to. This is going to be a lot of this we're going to schedule with someone in QuickBooks. They're going to help you walk through it as well. If you want to learn from their perspective, I will caution you, they are going to immediately try to get you to connect your accounts and start categorizing your bank transactions. I caution against that. So I'm going to close that right now. I don't want any of these pop-ups to be happening. You will get pop-ups all the time. QuickBooks will also constantly try to sell you things. I recommend that you close those when they do pop up because they just shove things out of the way so that you can't really see what you're looking for. You will notice over here to the right-hand side, because you are in the setup right now, you are going to have a setup menu over here that will help you keep track. Not every business is going to need to go 100% through this setup menu. And I'm going to teach you a little bit different from this as well. Some of that will apply, some of it won't. You will want to hide things if you are not going to use them. And in order to do that, you can just do the little drop down and hide the task. But sometimes when you're just first starting out, it's nice to have it there in case you want to make sure that you're not forgetting something, or you want to be sure that you are taking something off of there. So for homework, once we're in here, we are going to go up into this big gear in the upper right-hand corner. And when we click that, there's two things that are really important here: subscriptions and billing. So I don't want to get charged in 30 days from now because I want to make sure that I'm staying in that 30-day trial, and I'm going to make sure that I go ahead and I cancel my subscription the end of the 30 days. So I want to plan the end date so you can still use it. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel my plan. That'll be here if they still need it. If I decide to continue on after that, this is purely for training purposes. Obviously, if you're continuing with QuickBooks, you're not going to want to come in and cancel it, but I wanted to cancel it because I want to make sure I don't get charged, right? And it's only for training purposes. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. They've successfully canceled it for me. I'm going to see it change over here. I could go ahead and cancel my trial if I really wanted to, but I want to keep that. If I do want to subscribe at a later date, then I can go ahead and click to subscribe. It is giving me an error, probably because I did just start my subscription. So I am going to want to go in there at a later date and just make sure that it officially canceled. And it's not going to keep me in there. But I did, like I said, just do that. It also says I don't have any payment method in here anymore. So I think it probably was accurate because it took my credit card out. I'm going to go up to my big gear again, and I'm going to click it to open. And I'm going to go to accounts and settings. And when I go over to accounts and settings, I'm going to go to this very first screen that opens up, which is company. And I'm going to add a logo. I can upload it there. I can confirm that my fake address I answered and everything in here is accurate. I can add my website. I can add my industry in here. I can add my EIN number, right? Make sure my business name is correct. What's my customer facing email? What's my customer address? All of that information all along there. There are other settings that are going to be over here on this left-hand side, but really at this moment, they are not something that you're really going to be playing around with, but you do want to make sure that you've got that information. The logo is important because when you set up invoices or estimates or any of the things that you're going to do in the future, having that information in there already is helpful because you will be making things look pretty. The next thing I can do is go back over here to home then. And when I go to home, there are actually two ways to get to the chart of accounts right off of this front screen. And both ways are correct. The most common way that someone is going to utilize, which actually I wish my little assistant wasn't up here so I could see the true dashboard here, although she's not going to play nice, is when I choose accounting, which is usually right across the top once I get out of the setup menu, you will see chart of accounts as one of the options. And the reason that a lot of people will use accounting in order to do that is because you will spend a lot of your time in this accounting menu. It's where your bank transactions are. It's where all your receipts flow in. It's how you reconcile. But your chart of accounts is here as well. The other way that you can get there is up here from the big gear. It's going to be on the left-hand side under chart chart of accounts. Either way is correct. You will note that when you are in QuickBooks, there's about 2 to 3 ways to do everything. And it just becomes a personal preference, right? I can sometimes help you get a quicker way, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to continue to go the way that you were used to. This is the chart of accounts, though, and account type is what's extremely important so that we know that our assets are at the top, liabilities, equity, income, and expenses. You will notice that QuickBooks gave you a massive chart of accounts. In fact, it's more than one page. So if I hit next, I'm going to see more. So there are 97 accounts in here already. So there are 97 opportunities to make errors. And we don't like that, right? So the next thing that I always do before I've ever connected my bank accounts or done the very first transaction is to come in here and just inactivate away like it is my job. There are 2 ways to inactivate things. We can do them in bulk or we can do them one at a time. And so that kind of depends on what they look like. We'll get down in here. But if you do this drop down over to the right, you can say make inactive. The other thing that you can do is check the box to the left. And this is how you're going to be able to do things in bulk. And you're going to use this batch actions at the top. So you only want a cash account if you have petty cash. So this is like, I literally have cash that never hits the bank. It doesn't mean that I don't deal in cash or people don't pay me cash. It means I am never depositing this money in the bank ever in any way, shape, or form. So I have like a box of cash, cash register even, right? That I am managing. You still have to manage it. It is just like a bank account. You would have to say the money going into it or the money going out of it. If I don't want that level of drama, I'm going to check that box to the left. Inventory. If you're a new business starting out, don't do it. Don't even do inventory. It is a higher level understanding in the future where you want to track inventory. But generally, everybody's going to get rid of this. Prepaid expenses, as if, only if you're prepaying for things. Not real common, especially when you're first starting out. You could check that box. Uncategorized assets, undeposited funds, anything with the word un or the letters un, un in the front of it, you have to keep. So you can't get rid of those. So you're just going to do those un things. Accumulated amortization, accumulated depreciation, you may not need those. If you don't own a building, if you don't own land, if you don't have super expensive office equipment, if you don't have a lot of tools and machinery, if you don't own vehicles as a business, these all can go away. I have already cleared out assets. I like to do these in groups. So I'm going to come up here to the batch actions and I'm going to say make inactive. And it's going to say it will complete the pending transactions if there's any. It's also telling me 4 accounts weren't deactivated. It's because it wants to keep them there. It's forcing me to keep them there. It's forcing me to keep cash right now because it's the only bank account that I actually have on there. It's also telling me there were errors with some of these accounts, which let's see if I can do them individually. I just didn't like to do them in bulk, so I have to do them individually, probably because accumulated amortization and depreciation were associated with the fact that there was a fixed asset in there. So it couldn't get all the fixed asset accounts out of there, but I can go ahead and do them individually. Let me try to do cash individually then. Maybe not because it's the only bank account. Nope. It just didn't want me to do those in groups. It's that you're moving a little too fast. I wanted you to slow down. Accounts receivable, if you are not invoicing your clients at any time, you don't need accounts receivable. That's the only reason that's there. Everybody should keep accounts payable because you should be at some point entering bills earlier than later. Customer prepayments for anybody asking questions about deposits or customer prepayments. This is an account you are going to want to keep in there then. You will see it's listed as a other current liability, and it's the account that you are going to choose on your invoices when someone is making a deposit or doing those prepayments. If you do deal in customer prepayments, then you can actually get rid of that, right? So we can go ahead and activate that. Sales tax payable, this is that withholding account for sales tax. If I don't have short-term business loans, if I don't have long-term business loans, obviously if I don't have any business loans, you'll notice there aren't checking accounts in here. There aren't credit cards in here. We will add those back in when we connect those accounts. when we talk about those in the next session. So we can go ahead and get rid of that. If you are doing federal estimated taxes, this is maybe one of those items that I always scrutinize. This is an equity, as you see. That means that you're paying your federal estimated taxes personally. The most appropriate thing in my mind is to call this an owner's draw. Remember, the business doesn't care what you do with the money after you have paid it to yourself. So I would take that away. You'll also see your owner's draw here as well as your owner's investment. So you've got both of those accounts. Here we get into those things where it just drives me absolutely crazy. We've got personal expenses, even though it's listed as federal taxes, retirement plans. Again, business financial shouldn't have anything listed personally. Yes, it's easier for you to keep these organized because you're looking at in one place. That doesn't make it right. So I would go ahead and get rid of it. When you inactivate a parent account. So this is a parent account versus these sub accounts or children, I guess I call it sometimes. If you inactivate the parent, you will inactivate the children in conjunction with it. So let's see if it does the whole thing. It will take all four away. We're going to do the same thing with personal health care because it's personal and we don't want personal on our business finances. We're going to get rid of it. All right, so we've made it through equity, except for now we've got state estimated taxes on here. We're going to get rid of that too. So we're going to make that inactive. And the only things we should have in equity are opening balance equity. There's going to be a reason for that we'll talk about when we connect bank accounts, owner's draws, owner's investments, and retained earnings. You're going to need all those. And then you're going to do the exact same process that I just did as you go down through income and then through expenses. You'll see some of your cost of goods sold here, and then you'll see your expenses down through there. So happy in activating, happy homework. I will see you next session. Bye-bye.